YouTube, what the crap's going on? Heir of Carthage here, back on Total War Attila. Got you a replay here in the Age of Charlemagne. Yeah, it's going to be Avars versus Emirate of Cordoba. It's a one-on-one, kind of a bland map, but I was trying to find something that was relatively fair in terms of deployment, and this map was, so that's why I picked it. So I'm playing with a very similar army to what I used in the campaign introduction that I gave you all. So I've got 8 tribesmen. These are relatively weak infantry and melee, and they are pretty good archers. They have a little more ammo than like a standard foot archer, and they have better damage than most foot archers as well. But in melee, they are not so great. As you can see, only 27 attack. They do have a spear, so they're alright versus cavalry. They're very poor versus swordsmen. I've got 2 Avar nobles and 2 Avar lancers, and then my Avar guard, and then I've got 4 Avar horse archers. So I'm going to have to play a pretty skirmishy game. I'm up against the Emirate. I was worried he was going to bring armored archers, which would essentially be the equivalent of my tribesmen for cheaper. But he did not. He brought these Andalusian archers. We'll see how they perform versus my men. My guys do not really have a good missile block chance. They have decent armor, though. That's what they're going to have going for them. They don't have any missile block chance, really. He's got some Umayyad guardsmen over here that are a bit concerning. I popped them with a couple of flaming volleys just because I'm on fire at will. Wasn't really intending to fire at them, and I doubt that I'll cause any real damage to them because they have good armor and shields. Check out his cavalry. He's got 2 Andalusian cav on that flank, 1 armored cav, and 2 Berber Jeannettes over here, and then he's going to have 3 Andalusian warriors, and his center is Berber Levy, which is slightly better melee stats than my guys, but their armor is much poorer. So my guys would win in melee, spear on spear, unless it's against the Umayyad guardsmen. He's got 1 slinger here too, no doubt probably to face off against my Avar horse archers, and that's a good plan. I don't know what I was thinking here. I've got my Avar lancers in range of his guys, so I have to pull back. I'm going to take a few shots there. Not good. I'm going to go ahead and push my horse archers all the way around him. I want him to be surrounded. And I'm going to start trying to pick at some of his archers with my archers. See, he's firing at me with flaming shot. I'm going to return fire with 2 units here. These are armored archers up here, so these guys are going to be a tougher nut to crack here. Probably should have used heavy shot on these guys. It would have been worthwhile. But overall, like, still my guys have better missile damage by a considerable margin. 6 more missile damage for my guys. Let's see about the armor. My guys are 45 armor. His are 46. So his armored archers are essentially the equivalent of my spearmen without the melee when it comes to throwing punches from an archer standpoint. Though I get a little more ammo with my guys too, so that's always worth it. He's got his Berber Jeannettes out here. I don't want them to get my horsemen in melee, and they are faster. The Berber Jeannettes are very fast at 100 speed. My guys are only 90. Though a couple of volleys of flaming missiles from 4 cavalry, and it would wreck these Berber Jeannettes. So as long as I play my cards right, I should be able to do this. I'm just going to have to be very patient. I can't, rush into an infantry fight at this point. His guys are in a shield wall formation, but the levy are still not going to have a very good block chance. I pushed back his archers with some losses. But he's dealt some losses to some of my guys there. Look, 20 losses there by focus firing on one of my tribesmen. So, and that's my infantry too, so that's the downside of playing this way. I mean, these guys cost 550. They're not very cheap for what the melee you get out of them. By the time you add the cost of an archer to them, it pretty much makes sense. So I think their cost is right on par, but the Avars are going to have a tough gambit because their only good sword infantry is very expensive, and their spear options are crappy. Fortunately for them, their cavalry options are pretty fair. They're expensive, some of them, but they're pretty powerful cavalry. Nice charge bonuses and pretty good melee damage and attack. So they're just not going to have a whole lot of melee defense, so they're going to have to cause a lot of damage on the charge. Kind of see that it becomes a bit of a skirmishy standoff. He pulls his Andalusian archers back and kind of wants to trade back and forth with me a little bit, so I decide I'm going to pull his guys back a little bit. I'm popping some fire on these Berber Levy too. Just want to kill some of his infantry so that I don't have to fight him later, and I have the extra ammo to do it, so I'm going to do it. Now here he wants to trap my horse archers, so he's going to bring cavalry in from behind and Berber Jeannettes to try and close the door on me. But I'm going to keep pushing here because his Berber Jeannettes are going to get hammered by flaming volleys from my my cavalry here, and they are not going to be well suited to taking that. So yeah, right there. I'm surprised that didn't do any more damage than it did, but there comes the second volley. So down, bunch of men. So yeah, this Berber Jeanette's going to get absolutely lit up. And I'm just going to keep running so that he really can't pin me in melee. Again, his guys are faster, but they're going to get routed as my guys continue to fire their flaming volleys. And he can't really pin me down super well here. So I managed to kill his Berber Jeanettes and get away with relatively light losses. And if he continues to pursue, he's going to continue to die. He did have speed, and this was not necessarily a bad plan, but he just wasn't able to pin my guys there. He was a little bit too slow getting to me. But I mean, again, you can see the speed of these Jeanettes. They are all over my horse archers here. But they're just getting pelted by way too much flaming fire, and you can see that they die very quickly to flaming fire from the horse archers. So this is going to be the one strength that the Avars have, is the horse archers have incredible missile damage. The base damage is down a little lower right now because I have it on flaming shot, but I mean they still have very good missile damage. He's just going to sit out here and shield wall with these guys so that I can't hit them with my tribesmen as far as arrows go, and that's a good move. I've been picking at his Berber levy, but then I decided to retarget his Andalusian archers. His armored archers over here are losing the fight with my tribesmen as well. And now this is going to allow me to exercise a little more power with my horse archers, but he's still got enough skirmishers back here to contend with them. And so I'm going to have to stay away from his range. I actually get a couple of rear shots over here, but it actually kills a couple of guys. Managed to get a few kills there just on a fire at will stuff. I'm going to have to pull away, though. I can't stay in range here. But that was kind of nice. Got a few kills on those swordsmen. I do need to kill the swordsmen. So far, just a real skirmishy fight. As he pulls away with his archers, I'm just going to kill his Berber levy. So I don't think his archers are going to do a ton of damage late game. So yeah, as he pulls away, I'm just going to start destroying the Berber levy. That way he has fewer infantry troops. Getting rid of these Andalusian warriors is going to be difficult. Really what it means is that I need to kill his cavalry, and then I can destroy them in late game. But I don't really have a whole lot of prayer of destroying these guys in a melee fight. They will beat the tar out of my tribesmen. So yep, we're just going to kind of let things go here. But yeah, you can see his Berber levy getting chewed up. Just going to really start pouring the missile fire in. These guys are in shield wall, so they get a slightly better block chance. I'm not a huge fan of the shield wall, to be honest. It's kind of dipsy. Like, look at these guys in a shield wall. You're not really even in a shield wall. You're like spaghetti thin. So, I mean, the shield wall is kind of weird. It's just like push a button and all of a sudden your guys are stronger. I would be fine with it if it just gave defensive stats, since it's a defensive formation. What I'm not okay with is that this is spear wall, by the way, sorry. Shield wall is what these sword units will use, and shield wall is what I have the problem with, not spear wall. Spear wall gets used defensively and helps increase your attack versus horses. Okay, I get it. I like that. I'm fine with it. When you do it with swords, it increases their attack, which I don't like. Increasing their defense, making them less prone to cavalry charges, I'm okay with all that. Even making them block better against missiles, I'm okay with that. But when you allow them to sit back, block better against missiles, and have more attack, it's going to create kind of a campy mindset in players, like, oh, I'll just sit back and spear wall, or shield wall, bring some archers, and then whoever attacks me will probably do very poorly, unless they have like a bunch of berserkers or housecarls or something strong enough. Because when you give someone plus 15 attack from sitting in here, I mean, that's a lot. When they get a plus 15 versus infantry, that makes their attack essentially 49, and then their damage 55. That's very powerful. And you add that on top of the melee defense, or yeah, the high melee defense, and the shield wall is extremely powerful if someone attacks you in it. Now you might be like, well, someone has to actually charge you in it. Yeah, I don't feel like that's hard to create. Archers are better in this expansion, so you bring archers, you force your opponent to attack, you camp a hill with the shield wall on. So I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of the way it functions. Again, spear wall I'm okay with. Shield wall, though, I think is kind of dunce, because it's like, hey, I'm going to increase all your defensive stats and I'm going to make your offense better. What? That doesn't make any sense. So I don't know. To me, it just makes sense that it would increase your defensive stats. So it should just increase your melee defense and your block chance, be my opinion there. Anyway, that's just me. So I just wanted to talk about something while this was going on. But you can see that I've kind of torn up a lot of his Berber levy. And so now, once we get closer to the infantry fight, I have a lot less to worry about. I have to kill 4 tough infantry units. He's got Umayyad guardsmen, and these Andalusian warriors, I do have to deal with his cavalry as well. And obviously my horse archers would be the preferred method. And notice how I'm trying to fire all my arrows if my opponent's not going to rush me and allow me to do this. So that's absolutely what I'm going to do. I'm going to stay away from this flank, though. I don't want to deal with these Andalusian archers now that I'm out of ammo. And he's got this Umayyad guardsman out here, and so I'm just going to pull away from that flank. I don't want to fight this flank. Nothing good will happen for me over here. So I'm going to focus over here. I don't particularly want to fight these Andalusian warriors, and you may notice that I have some ammo left that I haven't used. It's because it's not really going to do anything against the shield wall. Not head-on, at least. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and attack him here. His guys are in shield wall. They're going to beat my spearmen very, very badly. They would beat my spearmen pretty badly anyway. But yeah, because they're in shield wall, they're going to really beat my spearmen. So I'm going to come back here. I decided to run an attack on his slingers. I should have gone ahead and started pulling away, but I'm a little bit slow on the pull away. My Avar Lancers here get a pretty nice charge on his armored cavalry. That's a much more expensive unit. And my guys are going to beat it pretty badly on the charge, but over time, that fight will kind of go in the favor of the armored cavalry. Now I'm going to try and push through here and get into the rear of these Andalusian warriors, but they will still be difficult to beat. But again, now that he has no real infantry center, this allows me to kind of focus all my effort on this flank. You can see my Avar Lancers now starting to lose, but they killed half of that armored cavalry in the charge, that's pretty impressive, because the armored cavalry is a good unit. I'm going to get a charge on the Umayyad Guard cavalry with my Avar Noble Lancers. It was an uphill charge, and my general's going to get a pretty nasty charge from Andalusian Cav, and I don't really get a proper return charge. It kind of gives me one here because I had clicked the button. I do manage to drag this Andalusian Cav out and kill it with horse archers, but over here you can see that, just look how good the shield wall is. Like, I know that his guys are better than mine, but look, 2 losses head on with the whole infantry unit. 2 losses, 48 kills. And it's been pretty much the same ticket here, 60 kills. That unit lost a few because it got attacked in the rear, but I mean, even attacked in the rear right here, these Andalusian warriors, 60 some odd kills. So I mean, the shield wall is just a bit ridiculous, in my opinion, because it's gonna really encourage people to camp, because it gives you both defense and offense. I think they should take away the fact that it gives you offense and have it just give you defensive stats. Now, the enemy general dies, and this causes a lot of the Cordoban army to rout, but it will not be all of it. Fortunately for me, these Umayyad guardsmen are a long way away from the fight, and it's allowing me to kind of clean up some of these pockets. All I really need to do is get rid of their cavalry, and then I've got these horse archers with a fair amount of ammo left, and I can cause some extreme damage. The most concerning unit that's left is the Umayyad guardsmen. I'm less concerned about the swords because I can use my shot cavalry to hit them from a couple of different directions. Look at this, completely surrounded. This Andalusian warrior still fighting and still winning handily. So anyway, I'm going to hit the Umayyad guardsmen. Fortunately, they are not in spear wall. I'm going to pull my horse archers around and just shoot them directly in the back. Rear charging those guys would not be near as effective as the horse archers will be. Yeah, look at that, completely surrounded Andalusian warrior, 148 kills. And an Andalusian warrior is just a pretty mediocre infantry. I mean, it's not bad. I say that it's mediocre. It's kind of mid to upper tier. But I mean, that shield wall is just absolute tank central. Check it out. Yeah, these Umayyad guardsmen getting shot straight in the back with heavy shot. So that will do a lot of armor piercing damage, and these guys do have a lot of armor, so heavy shot is the best. It will rout them, and that will actually work out for me. So yeah, so now we can single out the swords. So I'm going to hit them from multiple directions with shot cavalry, just kind of hit and run type tactics here, as you would expect the Avars to participate in. So here we're going to take out this unit, and then another sword unit's going to have to break off and try and assist. So we'll be able to charge it. So I've got another inbound charge here into the flank. So we'll just keep hitting the swordsmen, and then my bows are firing indiscriminately into the blob, which is probably not good for me, but since it's a late game, it'll be alright. Yeah, we got the guardsmen, and this is the last unit here, this Andalusian warrior. So interesting fight. Definitely have to take your time skirmishing. I really don't think the Avars are that good of a faction in multiplayer. That's just my opinion, just because shield wall and spear wall are going to make it pretty easy for folks to block a lot of your missiles. It just means I think it's going to be difficult to use the Avars for much of anything, especially if you start getting into rule sets. Like, where you want to cap cavalry to 6 cavalry or something like that. I mean, again, that's like capping the cavalry and the Huns or something, when that's really what they need to use more of in order to be good. But anyway, having fun still in the multiplayer here. You know, like I said, there's a few things about it here and there that get on my nerves, but otherwise it seems pretty fun. We'll keep testing it out, see how we like it. Tell me what you think in the comments. Heir of Carthage, signing off for now.